Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be playing a Lightning McQueen themed Clash Royale deck. And the reason why it's themed around Lightning McQueen is because if you ever watched the Cars movie, you'll know that the first Piston Cup is a three-way tie because McQueen sticks his tongue out and ties the race. So today we're going to be playing all the cards that are also sticking their tongues out. So kind of a tongue-themed deck, but I figured because that was my favorite movie growing up, because Lightning McQueen did it, it was kind of fitting. So these are all cards that are sticking their tongues out, and we're going to be trying it out and seeing if we can win a game today. And I was thinking about an analogy that I heard. I think it was an analogy, I don't remember exactly where I heard it, but just imagine that you have a mason jar, just a glass mason jar, and not one of the really small ones, one of the ones that's a little bit bigger, like the kind that your grandma would store, peaches or other fruit in. And you have to fill it up, and you have to fill it with, you have a few golf balls, you have several marbles, and then you also have quite a bit of sand as well. And the goal is just to completely fill up the jar, put all of those little remnants into the jar and be able to close the lid with it. And if you try to put the sand in first, if you try to fill it up with sand and then kind of put the golf balls and marble in later, you're not going to be able to. Essentially, in order to fill the entire container, you have to put the golf balls in first, and then the marbles, and then the sand just kind of fills in the cracks. And that's how you're able to fit all of that into the jar. And this is it essentially illustrates that that's how your priority should be as well. You should focus on the bigger, more important things first. Then you have to focus on the smaller, less important things. And then the really insignificant things will kind of fill in the cracks, and they'll end up filling up in between. And I was kind of reminded of this. One of the first videos that I uploaded on this channel was an Extreme Cheapskates video, because it's a show that I like to watch occasionally on YouTube. I just kind of like to watch clips from it. But the people in these videos, the people that would go about saving money in the most extreme ways, they would focus on the smallest things. Like they would buy expired food to save a couple bucks, but they had kids, so they would save $2, but they would cook expired food and risk their family getting sick. Or some of them would. There was one particular person who only flushed his toilet once a week, and he didn't even flush it. He just took a bucket of water and dumped it in, and let that kind of let the overflow of water flush the toilet for him. And he said, "Oh, it saves me $5 or $10 a month on water." And yet you could see the toilet. It filmed the toilet, and there was this nasty ring of brown around. Like, it was just a disgusting toilet. But yet he wanted to save $5 or $10. So that's what he would do. So he would go to extreme measures to save just a couple dollars, and yet it would show the car that they were driving. And the car that they were driving was it was not a reliable car. They would be driving a Dodge or a Fiat, or just something that was expensive to maintain and something that was expensive to repair. It's like if you had a Honda or a Toyota, it would cost you probably hundreds, if not thousands of dollars less to maintain it, just because it's a more reliable car. And so I just envision these people kind of filling their jars with sand. They're kind of focusing on the really small, really insignificant things to save a couple dollars, but they're completely ignoring the big things. They're completely ignoring. It's a discouraging way to lose. But that's kind of what I envision, is that they're focusing all their time and effort on putting these little grains of sand into the jar, but they're completely ignoring the bigger, more expensive things, the things that are of a higher priority. And so that's something that you can take away from this as well. If you're wanting to kind of get your life in order. Maybe your life is kind of chaotic. Just focus on the couple of biggest, most important things, and then all the smaller ones will kind of fall into place. And I think the most important things are probably your relationship with God and your family first, and then probably your physical and mental health second. And if you focus on those couple of things, I think you'll notice that everything else kind of falls into place. If you're worried about failing a certain class in school or not doing well, I think you'll find that if you dedicate more time to your physical health, you spend a little bit of time exercising and eating better, your energy levels will be better, it'll be easier to study. If you're worried about doing well in sports, maybe you're on a sports team, you'll notice that, again, the physical improvement, dedicating a little bit of time to your physical health helps with that. And so that's just something that I would focus on, is focus on the golf balls, focus on the bigger things, focus on the higher priority items, and then the smaller ones will fall into place. So hopefully you enjoyed the deck. That was the Lightning McQueen deck, and hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.